Now that I've been contacted by people saying, Eric, Sam Harris and I were both contacted saying that there's a disclosure planned and there's big updates and we need you to communicate this news to the world.
There's disclosure about a specific technology.
About something. I mean, more or less the way this works, it doesn't matter who you talk to. Something is huge. I can't talk to you about it because you don't have clearance. But we're going to fly out to Colorado Springs and we're going to show you some stuff and you're never going to be the same. Right? Like, okay, I'm on standby. My process, Joe, is that I'm very open-minded, but I have a very strong filter before I'll say, yeah, that's true. That's real.
Okay.
That freaks people out. It's like, why are you even talking to these people? Well, because I know the history and you don't. So I was open to this. Sam was open to this. And it's Lucy in the football every goddamn week. When am I headed out to Colorado? Oh, you're going to be met by a car and you're going to be blindfolded and you won't know where you are. Like blah, blah, blah. Okay. This week, next week, the week after. Oh, no. If something's come up on the hill, things are getting crazy. We're going to be talking to some very big people. I can't talk to you right yet. So that's been my weird life now, a part of it for like 3 years. I don't know how long.
For 3 years, they've been telling you that they're going to release this.
Well, yeah, and it's always pushed out, right? So like it's a manana program.
2018 Shriver War Game. Might have been brief or something else, but that's it. There's nothing about that screams, it's a very interesting thing. In fact, usually a lot of war game briefs are pretty boring. So there's nothing that stood out about it.
Accidental exposure for you.
100%.
You go into it and what do you see?
There's just a generic title slide. There's a banner without classification markings that just says Immaculate Constellation. And it has a placeholder slide that shows like the Shriver Air Base logo and some logos of the units involved. But at that time, I believe it would have still been like Air Force Space Command adjacent. So still nothing particularly stunning. I think the name at the top, probably just the name of the exercise. So the next slide, though, is where it gets interesting because the face of Lou Elizondo is on that next slide. And I was not who I was expecting to see. And it was accompanied by text to summarize. And please have some grace with me. It's been 7 years, but it was saying that Immaculate Constellation is an unacknowledged special access program established after the exposure of ATIP in 2017 by former USDI officer Lou Elizondo.
In your career and your network, the false INW or the deceptive indication and warnings projects related to this?
Yes.
And what did you find out about those?
That's pretty hush. I don't think I should talk about that. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's where when I briefed the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, that was the main subject.
That is, yeah, that's very sensitive. Yeah, it's very sensitive.
You got these sort of anti-gravity devices with creatures that look like ETs that are actually man-made robotic systems. They're called programmed life forms. And you start doing select interfaces with the public.
We did do that, yes. OSI did that. There was a special group out of the 7602nd Air Intel Wing at Fort Belvoir. They came out and did that. They had these people that had maybe some sort of defects, anatomical defects that were brought in to fool people into thinking they're aliens. Yeah. I can't give you any specifics because the program is still classified, and they're probably still doing it. I wouldn't doubt it. They were still doing it. These civilians got onto the base and got into something. They saw something they weren't supposed to see, and this group came out and went into their home and scared the dickens out of them and
Staged an alien event.
Exactly.
Yes, affirmative. Hold short 266 level.
Since the 570 million years ago, since the Arimathea wormhole was created, a whole series of them were created to link through our gates into Phantom, to link the three together. There are also massive galactic wars, intergalactic wars, that were fought over this. There was a group of the original fallen ones in the Phantom Matrix that didn't want to go into the Weesadite Matrix. They didn't want to go into the Emerald Covenant either. So they were going to fight the Weesadeks. And they had members of their own that joined the Weesadeks. So it was splitting up of the races. There was a period of time called the Gaian-Orion Wars. And they took place 570 million years ago, right after the Arimathea wormhole was created, when there were massive wars fought in the Gaia system, which from here is Polaris, which is Earth's density 3 counterpart, and in the Orion system, where we have Stargate 8 in MINTAKA Orion. There's also something called Alnitak and Alnilam Orion, and all of those systems with their various inhabited races in Phantom Matrix and in here and in Weesadek began to fight. The guys here didn't fight. They were trying to defend, because what was happening were the Weesadeks were coming through and they were seizing control of various of the Stargates in Phantom.
A long time ago, I used to live in Las Vegas, and I had a neighbor. He was some drunk former military guy, and one day we were talking about just nothing, and he had told me that he used to work at Area 51, and so I was like, oh yeah, have you seen the aliens? What do they look like? Blah blah blah, yada yada. And he would never ever tell me nothing. You couldn't pry anything out of him. But one night we had a power outage, and like the whole neighborhood was black. You couldn't see anything. So the night sky was like really dark. You could see like a lot of the stars because there was no outside light to drown out the stars. And he was real stinking drunk. I remember this guy used to drink like a half gallon of whiskey every 3 days. So we're just talking and bullshitting, and out of nowhere he goes, hey, you see Orion's belt? And I was like, no, I don't know what the hell it looks like. And he goes, yeah, up there. He goes, you see Orion's belt? He goes, you see how you see two stars that are straight, very, very parallel to each other, and then there's a little star that's slightly adjacent and off to the left. And I said, yeah, I see it, whatever. And he goes, the bad aliens live on that adjacent star. And I looked at him and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And he goes, yeah, no, he goes, I'm serious. He goes, the two stars, that's where the good aliens live. The bad aliens live on that other star. And he said the good aliens look like the traditional grays that we see on, in magazines on the internet with the big head, the big eyes, they're really small and gray. He said the bad aliens are brown colored, very tall, and they smell.
To our psyche, into our minds, paralyzing us, taking control of the cerebrum and the limbic system.
concerns about maybe Martians or other creatures coming to infiltrate our society, thinking that there are such camps.
This image was from Stan Romanek from having contact with the gray aliens. He said that the grays come from MINTAKA, Orion. That's what they showed him.
Now, the star that's circled is actually MINTAKA. MINTAKA is where others have said that bad aliens come from. They smell funny, and they're very big.
Oh my god. What the fuck is that? Holy... Where the fuck to go? Oh my god. I can't believe it.
They've been coming into people's homes and taking people.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Another video of a gray alien the same type.